So as you can see here, um, market opens, manipulation, right? Um, as you can see, market's going down. So what you're trying to look for is any signs of resistance, any signs of you can see that liquidity zone right here. You're looking for any type of like respect off of it or any just continuation. My favorite trades are just continuations after reaching those zones. So not liquidity sweeps. I don't like sweeps that much. So the new candle opens 9:35. It's pulling down, but if you can see in the momentum indicator, it's still up, and that's signs that it's not fully going to dump down. So you can't enter that yet. Also, the histogram bar is pink, which means it's just weakness of the bearish price action. So I don't know if you can see, but it's kind of having trouble like dropping down. There's sort of like a resistance of just it holding back. Realistically, it just depends on your intuition at the moment. This is a recording, but some people would have entered that trade right there with my strategy, which isn't a bad trade. If you do enter it, you do lose money. Um, but there are like proofs and signs that it's not entry is not ready yet. Like you do see the momentum indicator just dropping down a little bit, but you do see that resistance. It's not passing that zone right there, and that's why it's so important to mark out those zones, is so that you can see how price reacts off of them. So you see this resistance that it just keeps going up. You can't enter that short yet. You need to see, especially the volume. The volume is still low. So what you want to see on the 935 candle is that you want to see that aggressive pull to the direction that you're aiming for, and by seeing that, you look at the momentum indicator. Is it aggressively in the direction that you're aiming for? You look at the histograms. Is it strong enough to trend? Is the trend strong enough, or is it weak? Is there any type of resistance towards any of the liquidity zones? Is the volume high enough? You see, so all these confluences need to be applied when you're trading. Because if not, if you would have entered just basically on price action with my strategy, you would have gotten stopped out. As you can see, it's going up. Now my mind would think, this could be a reversal. This trade I did lose. I thought it was going to be a reversal, but it was a good trade. It was a good guess. As you can see that it's hitting that liquidity zone. It's just kind of just respecting it. So my focus and goal was just aiming for that MACD reversal and just entering off that reversal. Yeah, so like if you're looking at the indicators, there's no reason for you to be entering short right now. You can see the respect on that liquidity zone. Yeah, see, so by then I was low key thinking like this could be a possible reversal. So I was gonna be looking for longs. Yeah, so the momentum is up. You can see the histogram is weakening. You can see the blue line on the MACD. The MACD line is curving up. So the only way this strategy can work is if you're just patient. All right, a lot of people just want to enter right off market open or in the second candle. You can enter in the second candle if your confluences are aligning, but it is very important to be more defensive as a trader than anything. Because remember, not every strategy is 100% accurate. Um, so it really is going to make you profitable is your risk management, right? Now, as you can see here, I did the mistake. I'm not gonna lie, looking back at it, right? I did the mistake. See how there's resistance to the upside, right? Sometimes you gotta ask yourself, like in the other video of me explaining the strategy, I said, you need to ask yourself, if I would have entered a trade, right? Let's say I would have entered longs, would I be confident or unconfident in terms of like, would I be nervous of being stopped out, right? You gotta take the direction as a momentum trader. You have to take the direction that will give you the most confidence, right? If the market just seems like it's just pulling more downwards overall, then that's probably the type of position that you have to take, right? If the market overall is just looking bearish for the day, right? There's a lot of resistance to the upside. It's not. It's kind of pulling up sometimes, but it's not fully going up. Then that's when you have to. That's when you have to start aiming for the side that it is going. That it does look more probable that it is going in that direction, right? Um, yeah, you see here. I'm not sure if I went short in this. I don't really remember. I remember I did lose this trade though. Now, I feel like I'm just waiting too much. See, um, I could have been just too nervous a little bit, you know. Maybe just wasn't prepared enough. I wasn't really trusting myself. Could have been thinking that I was too late to enter short. See, so market clearly already passed the liquidity zone. It's clearly showing that it's gonna be mostly bearish. Now you're seeing some more resistance here, right? So you see it's kind of like indecisive in a way, but it's more directly just like overall from an outside perspective, it's going downward, this market, right? But it's kind of just doing it slowly by slowly. And that's called manipulation, right? Where it's just not fully committing to one direction. So I'll let you can zoom in. I went to 15 minutes to see more of it. I should have just kept going short. You see, so I did end up wanting to go longs for some reason. I don't know why. You know, it's just a mistake that I did. You can clearly see that the market is just bearish. Like it's overall just gonna be bearish, right? It already took out that liquidity zone. There's no reason for it to go back up, right? I just don't see it. So, from my perspective, right, it's already three candles, right? It's already been 15 to 20 minutes of market open. Market's overall bearish. What am I gonna think? I think this market's gonna be overall bearish. So if I was more clear in the head, what I would think is wait for this manipulation, right? This candle right here is green. Wait for it to finish, or just keep going down, and that's when I enter on the short level, right? On the short position. Um, yeah, I mean it was a mistake that I made. I think I entered. I didn't even enter like on a reversal on the MACD lines. I think I entered way too early, anyways. So you see, it was just a mistake. It's a mistake that I guess a lot of people make. Most of my mistakes are more just off emotional rather than more technical, because the technical analysis or the just analysis of the market when you're in it, it's usually telling you what it's going to do, what direction it's going to take. But sometimes emotions gets in the way, and you just don't follow through with your intuition, and you don't trust yourself, and I feel like that's what messes up a lot of traders. So it's been 15-20 minutes, right? Now it would be different if market reached that liquidity zone, right? Way before, like during market open. Let's say the first candle touched this liquidity zone and it started making a candle like this. That would be different. That's more of just a sweep, like an overall reversal. But it's been 15-20 minutes, and market's just been overall bearish, and there's just one long green candle out of nowhere. Um, and that's something that you just have to be patient of, right? You have to trust your gut. Market overall, it's been 15-20 minutes. It's bearish, right? Why am I looking for shorts? I mean longs. Why am I looking for longs? Right? Remember we said manipulation usually it usually tells us direction after the first 5 minutes. So after the first 5 minutes, we're looking uh, at the at the chart, right? And we're looking, it's overall bearish. Yeah, there's signs that are reversal. But how do we know that's it's gonna lead on to that way, right? It's already been what, 30 minutes, 20 minutes into the market. Why all of a sudden it's just gonna reverse? You shouldn't even enter that. That's way too late. But again, I mean, the later a reversal is, right? Now I'm gonna give this advice. Look, the later the reversal is, right, in my strategy, the more later it is, the less the less like the less value it has, right? In a way where it's like, if I'm 30 minutes into the market, right, and I'm seeing a reversal, don't enter that. That's way too late. That's too late, bro. Like, market's already shown what direction it's taking. Now, if it's 5 minutes into the market and it's already, all the confluences are showing that it's going to be a reversal, then that's different. But as you can see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's been 20 minutes. It's been 20 minutes into the market. Market is overall bearish, and all of a sudden there's just a green candle. Do not enter that. And if you enter that, I would consider that FOMO, fear of missing out. Because like I said, the later the reversal is, right, past 5 minutes of reversal, after those 10 minutes, the reversal, it just becomes less like valuable, less like you shouldn't be looking for reversals at that time after the first 10 minutes of the market, unless there's lots like the confluences, right? Now, as you can see here, the MACD line is just right, but like I said, it's way too late. I don't know why I entered that. Look at that. Look at that. I just got, yep, and it just went straight back down. See, the first 5 minutes of market, right? It's going to expose its direction. I'm telling you. Almost always, first 10 minutes of direction. You look at this, right? You look at this. 1, 2, 3, right? These are the first 10 minutes. Let me just go to the. That was the 6th of November, right? 6th of November. All right, 6th of November. So, market opens, right? Okay, so market opens, right? And it's just overall bearish like this, right? The direction, look, there's the overall direction. If you mark out these, right? Uh, if you mark out the first candle, the wick of the candles, right? What direction is it going? Tell me. What is the overall direction of these three candles right here? Four candles. Overall bearish. Why am I entering on a reversal when the market's already shown its bias for the day? I don't know. I guess I just made a mistake. I was just looking for a reversal when I shouldn't have been. But it's all right. Mistakes happen. You live and you learn. So keynote, right? Keynote. Market will always expose its bias for the day in the first 2, 3 candles. So the later, right? The later the reversal, the less value it has, right? Remember that. Right? So market will always expose its bias for the day in the first 2 to 3 candles on the 5-minute chart. The reversal. Hold on. I read that. The later the reversal. All right. So the later the reversal, the less value it has, right? So if it's already been 3 candles into the market, right? 3 5-minute candles, and you're seeing confluences of a reversal, do not trust it. It's too late. Reversals like that usually happen during market open. These 2 first candles right here, right? Let me show you an example of that. Right here. Let me show you an example of that. Look, right here. This was the 5th, right? I won this trade. Notice how the first 2 candles is showing the confluences of the reversal, right? Market opens, goes straight down, right? Goes to oversold levels right away, right? The next candle, right? It doesn't go any more down. It just goes up. What are you looking at? You're looking at the momentum rising, right? Right? You're looking at the momentum rising up here, right? And then you're looking at the histogram bars. See how it's weakening. Momentum is rising, volume is up. What is that telling you? Oversold levels, momentum rising, histogram bars weakening, MACD line rising. What is that telling you? In the first 2 candles, that's telling you a reversal. Remember, the first 2, 3 candles are always going to tell you the bias for the day. So it hits that oversold level, and it just rises up. So then you aim for the long, right? You wait for the MACD line and the signal line to meet. That's when you enter. Wait for the reversal. Wait for the momentum to rise up. Wait for the volumes to rise up. You see the volume is rising up? You see? Your volume is rising up and all that, right? So where's the so that's what I have to say, right? The first 2 to 3 candles are always gonna tell us bias, right? If you look at this direction right here, it's already exposed itself. There's gonna be shorts. This is nothing but manipulation, right? Well, I mean that's all I got today. I just saw that was a loss I did on the 6th, which is last week. I lost. That was my only loss that week. I just looked at it and I just really got really bothered by it because it was something that was very preventable. I don't know what was up with me that day. I might have just been more too like in a way like I don't know. Maybe just wasn't prepared myself correctly. Um, you know, but yeah, I mean that's a common mistake I get that I usually do is that I misinterpreted the first 3 candles. It's really easy. It's really simple. The first 3 candles, first 2 candles are gonna tell you what's gonna go right. So always look at price first and then your indicators. Or no, look at your indicators first, right? Because the indicators told me that there was just resistance everywhere. There was resistance to the upside. Look at that resistance right there. You look at that resistance, it feels like when you look at a candle and it just looks like something's just holding it back. That should tell you a lot. That should tell you be careful. Wait for the confirmation of the market, right? Wait for the volumes to rise up. Wait for the aggressive pulls, right? That's what you're going to be looking for. Now, don't be looking for sweeps after the first 15-10 minutes of price of the market cuz it's just not going to work. So the later it is, right? The less value it have. I wrote it up here. Market will always expose its bias for the day in the first 2 to 3 candles of the 5 minute, right? The later the reversal, the less value it has. Simple as that. And I showed you the video. I showed you how price just was overall just more. You see, like that actually just bothers me because I could have made that trade. See that manipulation right there. There's nothing but manipulation. Price was overall just rising, 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 right? I could have just entered here and just would have made some money. But it didn't happen. And it's fine. There's always another day. But yeah, I mean that's all I got for today. Hope y'all have a great day and hope y'all found this um interesting or found some education into it and just learned something. I'll see y'all in the next videos.